Okay, well, welcome to another Coherence 2025 conversation. And we are here together. Alex and I have been doing a lot of collaborative projects together, and we'll get into those. But to give you a reference for those that are new to Coherence 2025 or just kind of tuning into everything, this has been a space, it's an asynchronous conference based on how we can collaborate within the collaborative technology realm, AI, and all sorts of the pieces that we're needing technology wise for regenerative movement to really take form, take shape, and get clarity around one another and be able to work together. So with that, you can give your own thoughts on this as well as Alex on what coherence is for you. But what I'd like to do for our conversation today is really dive into the collaboration. So I'd like to talk about the work that we are already collaborating on, but like
Sure.
dive into because I'm really curious to understand some of the other pieces that you're doing with the pre-branding and other collaborative projects because there's some things that I don't know fully about the work that you're doing. So yeah, let's
That's
kind of dive
possible.
into it.
Absolutely. Yes, very happy. Where shall we dive into first?
Yeah, let's first start off with tell me a little bit about how coherence is going for you and what you're
Mm-hmm.
getting from it in these conversations that we've been having. And then let's dive, if you can, just share more about uh, all the crazy things that you're doing, all the awesome collaborative projects that you're involved in, and your pre-branding work as well.
Okay, yeah, sure. Okay, so I would say that Coherence is awesome, and I am so happy that I decided to join this project as a co-steward. And as you know, I got quite involved in optimizing the engagement of creating the ways in which co-stewards can actually uh, have tools and processes to successfully onboard projects into Coherence. And then the second layer of it, like how to make the projects to communicate with one another and all of these layers. So basically what's been the most interesting for me in this project is how to create this culture of people inviting each other for collaborative conversations and what has to happen so that it actually uh, looks valuable for them, right? And what do we have to say? What functions do we have to apply and build to really make it happen, right? Because there are so many ways in which people can drop off, like get confused, not understand, feel that this is too much, right? So how do we make it easy for everybody? Because the value is there, this is obvious. We know it already. And of course, the value you have to communicate, right? And you have to make it fun to make a first step so that people want to make further a few steps with you. So
Mm-hmm.
this is what excites me the most about Coherence. And of course, when I am inviting projects to have conversations with them, I'm doing so many things at once. And this is also why I love Coherence, because we are feeding so many birds with one grain. So first of
Yes.
all, yeah, I am, when onboarding projects, I am seeing what works, what not, and I can improve the overall experience, right? So I'm making user research. I am, of course, getting to know people. I befriend them, and I also may this may lead for me getting simply customers for pre-branding, because many of them may need pre-branding, and they do. And third of all, I create the coherence of the field of regenerative ecosystems and this ecosystem of tools for conscious collaboration, right? So this is so beautiful from so many perspectives. And with each conversation that I'm having, I am right now here. This is why my background is so weird. I am in the Funding the Commons conference in Berlin, And I've been talking to so many people about coherence and how it somehow creates sparks in their eyes, and how people get excited, like, oh my goodness, this is it, right? This is what we've needed all the time, right? We have to get into conversations, we have to bulldoze the silos, and we have to start collaboration, but nobody has yet figured how. So I believe that coherence.tv has many of these answers.
I love that saying that you just said, bulldoze the silos, right?
Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah.
and yeah, for me, that's really what Coherence is doing for a lot of the work that we're doing. And I deeply appreciate all the administrative work you've put into Coherence 2025. For those that are just getting the kind of surface level of what Coherence has been doing, Alex has been really much the backbone to a lot of the work that's been happening in Coherence, and it's been really cool to see just how you've been able to bring in and make an experience for those that are just this is completely new. I've never done this before. Everybody else that's joining Coherence, really this is a new way of us being able to collaborate in kind of an asynchronous way, and then you utilize tools like AI and whatnot to be able to really find out how we can work fully together in the technologies that we're using for collaboration in regeneration, and yeah, to place these in moment events towards these um, asynchronous events that we're just having these conversations between each other right now, but then sharing those with others. So let's dive into our work together. I'm really I know you're doing a lot of things, and I have to kind of wrap my head around those because there's so many different things. I want to see like how does it all come together for you? Because I know you're doing, you and I have two projects that we're working on together. The regenerative marketing movement, right? And we're seeing that kind of formalize with a group of folks that are marketers, and then we have the collaborative. We have Coherence 2025, this collaborative group. Um, tell me what else you're doing, and why do these two things fit into the work that you're
doing? Okay, so apart from that too, I would say there are two more major ones. And one of them is something that I like to call, it's a temporary name, but for lack of a better one, a pre-branding tribe of collaborators. The thing is that pre-branding is great as a standalone service, but many customers, and most especially those customers that I want to work with, they need so much more than just pre-branding, right? I want to deliver branding, marketing, software development, leadership, team mentoring. I would say that I wouldn't mind seeing it as some sort of regenerative venture builder studio, right? At the same time, I don't want to, I cannot see myself at all, and I never did, hiring people and building a company of like 20 employees, right? And therefore, and also, of course, having learned everything already about conscious collaboration, I think the way to go, the only way to go, is to actually make everybody their own boss, right? And perhaps support people in creating their own companies, their own offerings, so that everybody is responsible for themselves. And we team up for projects as it is done, for example, in a movie industry, right? So there is a movie, there is some funding, there is some director, there is the screen writer, right? So we team up for the purpose of this movie. It may take half a year, it may take a few years, doesn't matter. But then we all go to our respective fields, and yeah, maybe we meet again, maybe not. So this is the way I see it, and yeah, I would say it's not really so loud at all yet, because I want to really take it slow. And I'm sometimes wondering if what regenerative marketing movement is doing is something similar, or is it the same thing, or are they separate things? And I also meet other collectives of similar kind, like uh, elegant work I have to mention here. Of course, there is Quorum One. So I know that you with Regen Bee, I guess you are also doing some sort of ecosystem of that sort. Yeah. So I want to really, I don't want to rush things, because I want to really get it right, and not create silos that we want to bulldoze with Coherence, right? So I would say I am not married with any of the names. I know that simply there has to be a change in the way that we perceive business development, but yeah, I just want to see it happen. But I didn't see anybody like doing it really in a way that I think it should be done. This is why I started to feel that perhaps I have to step into that role and start creating it.
Yeah, that's almost every collaborative piece that I've been working in. I mean, we're all doing very similar things, and so it's important for us not to build silos, but then also for us to step into our power, step into our source, and create what we feel called to create. And I think there's a really great synergy that happens when people are really effectively doing the work that they're called to do, and they're stepping into their source, and then finding others that are stepping into their own source and figuring out that play and that emergence of collaboration, right? And so, yeah, you did mention the pre-branding work that you're doing. That you also mentioned one other, and I wanted to get to that before I also kind of share some things that I'm coming up collaboratively for me.
This one I want to mention, but it's much smaller and it's more personal, but not entirely. I want to decentralize. I want to redistribute myself, become a digital nomad full time. So basically, I want to set myself on the tour, and I want to visit as many as possible regenerative real estate projects in exchange for my services. So this is also ties to pre-branding. I can help them get clarity and set up some groundwork for the culture and yeah, whatnot. So basically, it's very much connected to the entire weaving of this regenerative ecosystem, because nothing like meeting in person, right? Builds trust and builds relationship. But at the same time, it is already building my lifestyle.
It is, yes, and I've noticed that as we've met together. I mean, you're always out and about in different places. I see you with other friends that I've made in the regenerative movements. You're at Victor's place. You're in where's Gaia and the village
Villa
that they
Gaia.
have. Villa Gaia. I've seen you all over the place, and it's been really fun to it's like where's Alex, like the where's Waldo, where's Alex now, in the regenerative movement. And I really hope that you move this forward and can continue it and bring it into every part of your life. I'm noticing that you are. So it's been really fun to see that. Yeah, thank you for sharing. Gives me more perspective on what you're working on, and gives me some really open thoughts on how we might collaborate together. Now, I'd like to spend the rest of the time really consciously being curious about our work together, and your work being in the marketing and branding world and my work, I'm trying to do less and less over the years, but that's been my career for since really the beginning of my working life. I have been in branding, marketing, and sales, right? And so it's a big passion of mine, but it's also something that I feel I'd rather be doing the marketing and branding and everything for one entity, two entities. You know, I'm trying to get away from doing the marketing for so many different brands,
A service, yeah,
especially
sure.
all as a service and all at once. I'd rather be doing the marketing and branding for my own businesses or
I hear you. Yeah.
the startups that I'm really close to. With that, I have been, and that's continues to be my bread and butter is doing marketing work, right? As a fractional, more on the branding side, as a fractional brand strategist and storyteller for brands. But I also do marketing funnels and get people set up as their team set up, their early stage team for their marketing business. So when they start getting some marketing dollars and team, and want to start building a team, I'm there to kind of help them establish, what their first hires are, what those positions should be in those kind of contexts, and kind of guide them through those places, which has been why I started building the Seed Studio out, and that's part of Seeds a DAO. So I have two businesses or two organizations that I've been working on. One is more of my personal. My wife and I started a business called Seeds a DAO, and it was really meant to focus on kind of building out like a creative studio of sorts for the regenerative movement. So growth, helping with growth professionals, different growth professionals who really help grow regenerative business in a few different areas, but largely my marketing background being that. And I've always been in connection with lots of different growth professionals, SEO specialists, graphic designers, all sorts of creatives, but then people that do paid ads, people, as a marketer, that's kind of just the realm that I've been in, and we've created work together, right? I had a branding agency before this, and that was really what we did in a lot of ways. We didn't hire a lot of people internally. We had to build out the team for different projects, and we tried to find work for our group of friends that we were working with, right? And so that branding agency was a lot of the work that I did right before deciding that I was going into wanting to be focused solely in regenerative business, right? So now, I think for me, the curiosity that I have in ways that we can collaborate is how could we potentially, you had mentioned create these big working groups like you see a film set, right? Everybody kind of, it's almost like a little town and a little community set up for a specific time. And that's something that I've really wanted to explore with the Seed Studio. I've been talking to and have invited about just over 40 folks that are growth professionals in marketing and branding, operations and governance, and finance and funding, people that help get financing and funding for different projects. And so in those three areas, I've built a group of folks that are loosely connected at this point, but I want to connect them further. And the way that I've been thinking of doing that has been to do exactly what you're thinking. Like, where do we find these big projects and big regenerative businesses or these startups that have huge potential and have the funding that they need, or maybe we need to help them find the funding. That's a part of the equation to really take off and launch. But we create these almost like a community of folks that are like a decentralized team that help this project, this business, this group of businesses to thrive, and create the growth that we want there. So like a growth professional team, but it's all decentralized, right? We're all just we have our own businesses, but we have the director, like you said, that's directing us on this, and we move forward. So that's one thing that's standing out for me as a creative project. And I know there's lots of things that could be created to make that happen. I'm gonna stop there and maybe get your thoughts.
So you have you said this 40 folks that you have right now organized, and they are loosely connected. We aren't talking about Seeds of DAO anymore, but about Regen Bee, right? Your second project. Is that correct?
No, actually, this is Seeds of DAO. Seeds of DAO is, yeah, we're building what we're calling the Seed Studio in Seeds of DAO. And that is largely just a group of, a collective of growth professionals that are helping businesses to grow. And we don't have us fully meeting together yet. I've just been kind of gathering folks into to that understanding, and now I want to find ways we can actually work together. And so this might be that way. So this is this is still Seeds of DAO.
So you want to somehow restart Seeds of DAO, kind of.
In some ways, yes. It's one of the biggest. It's not necessarily restarting. It's like the next step in what I hope Seeds of DAO to be. Is that piece? But Regen Bee is connected to that. Regen Bee is essentially its starting off point is how we can build collaborative, common resources together, and we manage and hold those in together. And Seed Studio can be one of those projects that we incubate and create a shared, like shared resources with common resources within the regenerative ecosystem. Because Regen Bee, it's an acronym, stands for the Regenerative Business Economics Ecosystem, and so that's really the it's the collaborative. No one owns Regen Bee. It's actually a fair share common structure. So, but everybody stewards it, and we have governance structures over it. And so it's really this it's an association of folks that are holding resources in commons together to build towards the regenerative economy and build out those regenerative transitions.
Good. Now I understand everything. So what I see as a potential, what I care about in the Prebranding tribe is the feminine aspect of the things. So that means, and this is part of the reasons why I really want to take it slow. I don't want to right now organize it in a very structured way and make decisions that will have high consequences, and rather want to listen to the field, what is that actually needs to be done, rather of what I want to do, right? So first thing is being absolutely mindful and careful, and I know that we are building something with a very high potential. This is why, there is some sort of reverence even to it, because one aspect, and this is something that I agree very much with Victor also, and Victor is part of my tribe, that it's about culture and about creating ways of relating to each other, of working with each other, in potential also living with each other, right? In all those hubs and traveling together, like meeting on events. This is all, this goes all together. So this aspect is super important for me, right? So it's not about only getting jobs. This
Hmm.
is,
Hmm.
of course, if we don't get jobs that pay us well, we can sit and dream. But in general, without seeing the culture in the right way, without knowing what is this environment actually, how it is going to nurture us, how it is going to boost our well-being, like uh, mm, why is it beneficial beyond doing business, right? So what's in it for the human, right? And as you may know already, I have also this frameworks for connecting people, like my flagship workshop, who is the golden connection you're seeking. I don't know if you've been, no, I don't think you came into any of them, but simply ways to make the people connect with one another and to have conversations, to deepen the conversations with one another, right? So this is what I want to implement. And I imagine this as a rich meat stack. So whenever somebody is entering, they have many events to choose from. And apart from getting shit done events, we have also heart sharing circles, right? Where we can simply flow and like be authentically ourselves, maybe talk about what worries us or some challenges that we go through, right?
Hmm.
To give space for the human side and for the feminine energy. Um, yeah. And what I am seeing is that those professionals that you have, would it be fair to say that it's more on this masculine side, that it's more about growth, right? Because you often use the word growth, and growth is like, okay, how can we grow? To me, it's more like, how can we be together?
Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, I would say there's definitely a good amount of that masculine side, and the culture is something that I am deeply um, uh, I deeply care for. The big the But the bigger thing is more so for me in building out the seed studio is I want to see, well, for one, my entire career in marketing has been in like this growth space, and it's been
Mm-hmm,
kind of exhausting in a lot of ways, right? In in my branding agency, we're always trying to find the next unicorn, to grow and create this um, big business. And then when I was looking at that, and my skill set, I feel like is in that space, and I do really well on helping marketing teams to grow and to help a business to grow. The but I can't really use that skill set in its traditional form that we see in this current economic situation. The
mm-hmm,
only way I feel like I could actually use that skill set, and that others within um, the marketing world that really want to move away and make it that transition,
mm-hmm.
there's so much need for uh, the regenerative work to grow, right? And so that's where I'm kind of
Yes.
seeing that potential is like there is there is a certain skill set that marketing has brought to help grow businesses that can be used for the great need at this point to grow the regenerative movement and grow regenerative business. And so that's where I'm seeing a lot of that. That's why I've been trying to build up the seed studios. Like, how do we grow the businesses that need to grow so that we can make those transitions, those big leaps forward in in small ways as well, right? And I
Mm-hmm,
think the small, because I'm very much a permaculturist, and small and slow solutions
mm-hmm,
is a principle that I practice. And the way that I see that is there's a lot of small fractional uh, workers out there in marketing and growth that really just don't enjoy the work that they're doing because they're in
yeah.
extractive systems. How can we take their contributions into a larger group where that we collaborate together? So these smaller fractional workers building out projects together, and that's essentially what I'm trying to do. But yes, I feel like it is more of a masculine approach in that regard of like let's grow things, let's grow this regenerative movement, and you're focused in on that feminine side is great. So I think there's alignment there, right? For sure.
Yeah, there is. So what kind of structure do you want to create? Are you trying to build some piece of software, or like how do you envision it? Or do you want to onboard one of the platforms that is there?
Yeah, so structure is I'm not sure. I'm trying to be emergent with that as well, and be a little not too hasty to find what needs to be there. I'm starting to recognize some patterns though, because it's been a little while since I've started building out and starting to talk to folks about this concept of the seed studio. And some of the patterns that I'm recognizing. So with this group of 40, I'm talking to them and kind of seeing what can we do together. What are some of the things that we can do together? There's kind of three things that are standing up. People need work, and they want work that is meaningful and purposeful. They don't want to work for, Nike anymore. They don't want to work for McDonald's and these big corporations that are doing these huge campaigns. They want to work for businesses that are doing great things. So purposeful work is a pattern that I'm noticing. Another is a couple folks have brought this to my attention and the thoughts of this, but this concept of having a collective marketing effort that's that doesn't really have a specific. So Sophia Sakar kind of labeled it as she's kind of creating this anti-brand, right? How can we create something, this anti-brand of sorts, where we have all the marketers and all the growth professionals in that kind of space working together to help the ecosystem wherever it needs help, right? And it kind of, so it's this anti-brand, and it murmurates between, let's say we need to work on the fiber industry right now, so we build out campaigns for the fiber industry and get people understanding of what regenerative fiber, the regenerative fiber ecosystem. And then all of a sudden we realize that this also works for food supply in a certain bioregion, and so we're trying to we move our marketing and branding efforts into that, and we build out a media alliance where different businesses are doing that. So that's another one that's kind of come up as a pattern. So those two are some of. So I've been doing a bit of the way that I'm going about this approach is first gather, and this goes into Regen Bee, what we're doing to build common resources. We first gather the stakeholders within a certain realm or working space or bioregion, and then we start organizing and we build shared objectives together, right? And right now I'm still in that gathering, but I'm really close to this. How do we build shared objectives? Because I'm starting to recognize these patterns with the seed studio, right? So the seed studio is collectively. I invited you into the seed studio, right? We had an initial conversation about it. So you're one of those 40 that I'm talking about here. And so how do we now? I've been starting to gather folks around this idea. What are some of the? And then I've been teasing out and trying to discover what are some of the ways that we can collaboratively work together. And that's really where I'm at in this process with the seed studio. So 40 or so folks, those are the two patterns that are coming out of like possible collaborative projects that we can do together. But the one that really I think comes alive for most people because it's more urgent in our minds is let's get purposeful work together, right? And so that's something that I really want to explore and see if that's a possibility that we could work together on, creating opportunities to build out projects and direct them and have directors and have a culture, a community around a certain project that maybe we stand up for a little bit and then we move on to something else. Which also kind of leads into commemorations. I think eventually that's kind of like the evolution of that kind of work, right? We kind of build into this collaborative of folks that's have this anti-brand that helps the movement grow and solidify its place and transition us towards those regenerative economies. Check.
Very, very interesting. Very interesting. It feels like check. You said check. It feels like a little bit like a chess play. You move one pawn, I move one, right?
And it's something that I've picked up from Evolute 6 and working with Graham Boyd, Stefan, and Marie of Evolute 6. That when we're done talking, we say check.
Okay, sweet. What I'm thinking is this. I mean, actually, I have a question. So, the folks that you have had some meetings with them, I'm imagining, because like that the meeting that we were supposed to have and we didn't have, I'm imagining that you've screened everybody, like in terms of what they need, what is actually that they care about and what they would wish. So I'm imagining that you have 40 people that you know a lot about. So you have a solid base that is ready to, like, let's say, start creating experiments for and with. Is that correct? And
so here's where we're at with those 40. I've spent more time with others than some of them than others. All of them, I'm kind of just a connection point at this point. I haven't brought everybody together in one space or invited everybody quite yet because I'm feeling like I'm just been super busy, right, with Regen Bee and lots of collaborative projects like Coherence and all the work that we're doing within this ecosystem. That this has been, it got put on the back burner a couple times, but the whole process is like here soon that we get everybody together and we start working through the Moker system that we kind of did with Coherence, right?
All right, yeah.
And so that's where we're at in this spot. I'm really close to just getting us all together. We start talking and we start building towards a shared mission and objectives. And then we build out key results that say we're accomplishing these together, right? And these are, some of these are actually incubators and accelerators. So they're actually businesses that have a team around them. So some of these and others are folks that have, some of them even have like a agency type work, right? And then others are just independent. Like yourself, like me in a lot of ways. We have independent work that we're doing, and we're fractional professionals in the space. Many of them, I say the majority are those, and then there's 3 or 4 that are more business, like agency or incubator accelerator folks. And so getting them together, finding a shared mission and objective that we're operating under, objectives that we're operating under, and then going out and pursuing those. That's essentially where we're at right now.
Yeah, I hear you. And I remember your exercise about the driver statement, and this can be something very powerful. And I am imagining that a lot of people like me and those that you have there, I guess, see the big problem, because the driver statement is about addressing some relevant challenge, right? And the challenge is huge, right? With extractive marketing. So yeah, I would say that I see how you can derive powerful driver statements with that will help to build it and bring people on board and build some first experiments. And I'm definitely very happy to take part in this session that you want to orchestrate. Somehow I'm like also trying to connect the dots, because to share what is my, for example, timeline with Prebranding Tribe. What I want to do is I want to run 3 month sprints. So the one will be starting in July, third quarter of this year, and then in October. So in the first one, I would like to gather the core team and make this core team figure out what kind of culture do we want to create, because to me the cultural element is the most important. So how do we want to relate to one another? Basically find perfect alignment. I know maybe it's utopian, but basically really understand one another and what it is that we want to create. So I want to take it very, very slow, right? So I'm thinking one meeting every 2 weeks or something like that, with maybe 7 to 8 people. So I don't want to see, this is the difference, right? With masculine energy, starting small, starting slow. And then in the fourth quarter of the 2025, I want to start recruitment, because when we will know what is it that this tribe is about, right? And I'm saying tribe, not collective, not consortium, tribe, because we want to have shared rituals, shared behaviors, as I said, potentially traveling together and living together. So there is a lot on the personal, on the human level, right? And once we have clarity on that, in the last part of 2025, I want to start recruiting and perhaps talk to my 40 humans and see who can get onboarded, right? And in the meantime, I want to already be getting jobs, because I think that this is the way in which we actually get to know one another. Like, get to know each other at work is the best way to get to know each other, right? Because this shows how you react in the stressful situations, how you react when money is involved, when conflict is involved, right? So getting jobs and doing things together is also like starts right away, and it's already happening. And then only in the first quarter of 2026, I want to having already more people on board. I want to spend time again, perhaps 3 months, on ideating the organizational vision, and then only create an organization in the second quarter of 2026. Because today I have no idea, do I want a traditional company, or maybe it's a DAO, or maybe now, or maybe what's not, maybe there are some new forms and new structures available by that time. So this is how I see it. So as you see, this is like a little bit different dynamic here.
Yeah, well, I think there's a lot of similarities that we could also draw on here as well. And so maybe there's, because what I potentially see how we think it's going to happen and how it actually does happen is always an interesting thing, right? And how quickly we accomplish what we want to accomplish in the short term, and how quickly we accomplish things in the long term. Usually short term takes a little bit longer than what we think, and usually long term takes a little bit, it's a little closer than what we think, right? And so when I'm looking at this and what you're proposing, this first conversation that I would like to invite, and maybe we do a collective inviting. What I'm seeing happen is in these collaborative projects is we can invite 80 people, and maybe we get all 80 of those show up in the beginning, but we get really a strong like 8 folks that are the co-stewards in that regard, right? That are actually going to be the stakeholder that actually drives a lot of the early, they take on a lot of the early stage risk in building something, and they really are devoted to building it out. And so that's what I'm essentially seeing with this. So when I invite the 40, I'm probably going to get maybe 4 that are like really involved, wanting to be strictly involved. When we get build up a little bit more, they're going to come back and revisit and want to be a part of it in some way or form, right? And so that collaborative, what are the 3, 4, maybe up to 8, but I think that's still even a big group that are going to co-steward and take on the big heavy lifts in the beginning of building that out. Maybe we work together on finding what that is. We can take it really slow, right? And you handle that kind of culture piece of it. Again, we're just being curious here. We're not saying we're actually going to be doing this. We're just talking about the potential of this, right? And that's what this is about. But we can maybe possibly work together and find and tease out what those shared objectives are, and really what work we can actually do together that solidifies our relationship as well. Oh, I lost you. I think you're coming back. There we go.
I don't know what happened. I got disconnected suddenly. Everything looks fine on my end, but I cannot see you now.
There we go. I can see you now. Can you see me?
Cannot see you.
My video here. I'll turn it off and turn it on and see if that helps. Did that work? Can you see me now?
No, I cannot see you, but it's okay.
Oh no. No, I can see you though. This is interesting.
Oh, now I can see.
Okay, there we go. There we go.
So I would say that that's great. That's great. I don't see that you are stuck with particular ways of doing things. It's rather that you are exploring what are the best way to do these things. And I think we have a very similar shared purpose. I think, yeah, there is a reason why we have met in the regenerative marketing movement, right? So because this is what actually I will get back to what I said in the beginning. I don't know, and this is something I would love to explore with you. If what you are doing and what I am doing, if we are doing separate things, and maybe we are doing exactly the same thing, because in this emergent world, we don't really know the future, but we have certain visions. We get access to some sort of future desired states that are shared by many, and perhaps we are tapping into the very same thing, right, with our subconscious mind, and we are getting certain elements of it. And I think and I know that you are not really attached to the ownership of something, right? You wouldn't be building the commons if it was about ownership, right? So if we give up the idea of being owner, I think then it is very easy to see that maybe potentially we are talking about the same thing, and that your resources and assets and tools and approaches can complement these things that I have, and together we can build it in more more effective way, right? Because there will be this balance, right? So as you noticed, I bring the feminine aspect and the cultural thing and taking things slow and shared hard sharing circles while you have growth strategies, self-optimization, bringing funding, right? All of these things are needed. While I only for now have the first one really figured out well.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm. Yeah, and so I think it would be important for us to, I think maybe some of the conversations that we can have further beyond this one is how can we step in and continue to step into our source for you, your source in building culture and this kind of pre-branding and understanding of who we are, why we're working together and cohering together, which I think also is why we're doing Coherence and why you've attached yourself to Coherence 2025, right?
Exactly.
So this is it's really perfect. So how can we continue to step into our source, work from a place of source, and help each other lift each other up in those areas that we're really trying to move toward our visions, right? And so in that, I think that's probably a good next step for us. And I think even just having a couple more conversations to tease that out and see the possibilities, because really the bigger piece is I don't want to step into source for, and I would love for others find others that are, because I think there are folks that are wanting to do more of the um, spearheading in operating and gathering and organizing the studio work, right? And helping people to build out this group of creatives and group of growth professionals uh, to cohere together and work together. I'm more working towards how do we build more of those groups, right? That's what Regen Bee is, right? So if what I've created with Seed Studio doesn't end up being anything, the 40 or whatever, but it turns into someone else's lends to someone else's project, and maybe it lends to yours, Alex, is what I'm trying to say as well, where we just kind of utilize what the tools that I've already started to build out to foster your vision and goal with the pre-branding tribe, right?
I
And
appreciate that.
and that definitely can be something that we explore together, because it is something
I would love
that
to.
has.
I would love to. And I have even. I would say yes, and let's invite Victor to this conversation. I think he would be very excited, and he has himself when he joined when he joined Prebranding Tribe, he asked like 30 high-level questions, like, and what about this? And what about that? And like, have you thought of this? I'm like, chill out, man. And he's like, no, I'm not chilling out. I've been thinking about it for 10 years. So it's like, if you are building something that I've been thinking about, it has to be done really well. And we have to get it right from the beginning. So he's also very excited about it. And I appreciate you. So if we could put this up, the three of us together, I think that would be a very good base.
Yeah. I mean, there we go. We have three folks willing to be builders of this space right now, right? That we're trying to present. And I think there's others too that we can help to bring into this. So let's have that conversation between the three of us. I think Victor, Alex.
I already have. Sure. I already have some. I don't have 40, but I have like 5 more, especially one I'm thinking of. So I would suggest bringing them rather carefully, one by one, like cherry picking them, and together deciding collectively of But I think the core, the source shouldn't be like the collective source, right? The core source. Is there a term even for that? The heart. Maybe 7 or 8 people. I think that would be optimal.
Yeah, for sure. I think that's perfect. And then we just keep a running list of the folks that we want to slowly bring in, right? And have and one of those things is like keeping them aware of what we're building, right? Is another part of that, right? So you kind of build out the co-stewarding group, and then you keep everybody else that's in the peripheral aware of what's happening, and even invite them in for certain pieces of it, right? Yeah. So
yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Let's have another conversation. We'll bring Victor in to this next conversation.
Good, let's do it.
This has been fun. So
right?
let's wrap up here. I'll let you know if you're listening to this recording. This is Coherence 2025, and I'll also let you in on a secret. You can join in on these conversations and become a part of Coherence 2025 by watching the other conversations, commenting on them on YouTube. There is coherence.tv is our website, and we also have the Coherence 2025 YouTube channel where you can view more of these and partake in the conversations here. And even if you have a project, a collaborative project, let's have you join in and share your work in the collaborative technology environment and in the regenerative movement. All right. Thank you, Alex.
Amazing.
Thank you so much.
Thank you,
and
Josh.
We'll see you guys all later. Ciao.
Yeah, continue cohering. Bye.